And then the translation talks about this pastime, the Damodar pastime. After you still butter your earrings and sunshine, as you flee your mother in Gokula pastimes. Though you are all blissful of knowing ever new, greatest of controllers, your mother controls you. She shows you the stick and she binds you by the waist. You shudder and sob and your necklace of pearl shakes. As you rub your frightened eyes, tears roll down your face. So suffer love bind you, your mother's embrace. Relishing your childhood activities like this, you plan your devotees in the oceans of bliss. Domini revere you, by love you are subdued. Again and again, Lord, I bow down before you. Although you give freedom, I don't ask to be free. Nor do I want anything you could offer me. I only request that your sweet childhood pastimes never be enacted in my heart and my mind. Curly hair and circles, your face of blackish blue. Kisses make your cheeks look like red mimba fruit. May this sublime vision be all that I can see. Any other treasure has no value to me. Damodara Vishnu, oh Lord, beyond compare. Be pleased with the soul sunk in oceans of despair. Uplift and protect me with glances from your eyes. Shower your compassion like rainfall from the sky. Two sons of Kuvera were cursed to stand as trees. You gave them the chance to become your devotees. My love, will you offer the same blessing to me? I don't want to merge with your identity. Although in your belly the universe is found, your mother's effulgent as your belly band. I bow to the robe and to Radha, your most pure, and those sublime pastimes in which you appear. Radha Mudurki. Yeah. This song talks about that pastime, Mother Yashoda binding Lord Krishna, and him pulling down those two trees, the Arjuna trees. So yeah, we'll just talk about that. And then in the mornings, then when we sing the song, we have the devotees who come up, offer giveks, and we'll have the giveks for you, and we'll light it up, and one per person. Two if you want to do it for somebody else also. And I encourage everybody to please sing it at least once. Please lead it at least once during the Kartik month. And we'll set up a schedule. Govinda is going to set up the schedule during the Kartik month, and then there's still some time, so we still have time to practice or keep listening. You can look it up, you can hear it more often and prepare for Kartik. All right. Sure, thanks. The whole, it's there in the Krishna book actually, the whole pastime, Mother Yashoda binding Krishna. And so Mother Yashoda has this, she's his mother, and so her relationship with him is just mother who feeds him, bathes him, wakes him up and chastises him as needed and so forth. And so it's one fine day in Vrindavan, as it starts, once upon a time. And so Mother Yashoda saw that her maidservants were busy, so she started making the butter herself. And she starts churning the yogurt to make it into butter. And then little baby Krishna comes to Mother Yashoda, and he's hungry, and she could tell that. So she starts breastfeeding him, and then and then as soon as she starts breastfeeding, and also before that she was already like singing Krishna's. That's another thing in Vrindavan. The gopis, they all just sing of Krishna. They just naturally sing of his activities and so forth. And so she was doing that. So yeah, she was breastfeeding him, and then so she had this special milk that was on the stove, and it was being heated up, and the milk saw that Mother Yashoda is breastfeeding Krishna already, so the milk panicked, and the milk was like, there are two versions to this. One version, the milk panicked, and milk was like, wait, like, it's our service to feed Krishna, and it starts like overflowing, And the other version is where the milk is like, oh no, was that? Yeah. Oh no, she's already feeding him. What is our use? We might as well just die. And it starts jumping out of the pot, trying to nullify its existence. But so then Mother Yashoda sees that the milk is overflowing, so she puts Krishna down. She goes to attend to the milk. And at that point, Krishna gets really angry. She's like, I'm hungry. And she just left me here, and what is she doing? And then he was biting his little lips with his little teeth, his little baby Krishna I wasn't a baby at that point, but it was still fairly small. And he was biting his lips in anger, and it's described in the Krishna book, Bhagavatam's eyes turned all red with anger. And he's having a temper tantrum. And so that's when I think Krishna wants to have relationships, and he wants to experience all these different activities. So he wanted to experience the temper tantrum for a little kid when he gets hungry. So he did that, And so he gets angry, and then he breaks that pot of the yogurt, and he starts taking all the yogurt out of it. And he takes the yogurt and runs away. And then he goes to this room and he starts feeding the monkeys all the yogurt. And Mother Yashoda comes back. She sees that the pot's broken, and she gathers. Okay, well, I left Krishna, and he got angry, and he broke the pot, and now he's being naughty, and he took the yogurt. And so she starts searching for him. She finally finds him, and she sees him that he's feeding the monkeys, but he's also anxious. He's like looking, it's like when you're doing something wrong, and then you keep looking like both ways. So, you just keep checking if you're gonna get caught any second. That's what Krishna was doing. He just kept looking here and there, and was afraid of his mother that he's gonna get caught. And I can't remember which acharya talked about it, but the monkeys, they were the monkeys from Lord Ram's pastimes, and Krishna was like, all right, here, I'm gonna feed for all your help in that pastime. I'm gonna feed you some yogurt now. And so Krishna was doing that, and she sees him, and he was sitting on this mortar. Actually, he was already sitting on this mortar upside down. And he was sitting on that mortar and feeding the monkeys. And then when he saw her with this stick, and then he started running, and she started chasing it. And Prabhupada talks about, the Bhagavatam talks about it, how he's the supreme absolute truth, and he cannot be arrested, he can't be caught by any mistake or yogi or any jnani or anyone, any impersonalist to anybody. But a devotee can get a hold of Krishna. So she's running after the absolute truth, and the absolute truth's running away from her. And as she's doing that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talks about it, how her garland starts loosening, and her hair, the hair starts getting open, and there's flowers in the hair that start falling. And I think he says how the flowers start thinking that what a travesty, she's trying to arrest Krishna. We can't be part of this conspiracy, so we're just gonna leave her. And it's just falling off. And then the other one is where this flowers thing, we gotta reduce her load, so let's leave so she can catch Krishna. And so she's chasing Krishna, and then finally, she's getting tired also. Finally, Krishna shows mercy and lets her get a hold of him. And then she gets a hold of him, and he's all scared. And I think Queen Kunti mentions that in her prayer, one of his verses, right? It's Yad Vibheti Swayam Bhayam, that fear personified is afraid of Krishna, but he is scared of his mother. And he gets scared of his mother. Like fear personified is afraid of Krishna. And so, and then he's scared and he's like crying on all his mascaras like everywhere, he's rubbing his eyes. And at that point, Mother Yashoda, she's like, okay, I can't get the kid so scared. So let me just teach him a lesson. And let me just tie him up to this mortar. She ties him up to the mortar. And she starts to tie him up to the mortar. Starts roping him in, and the rope's like 2 inches too short, 2 fingers too short. And then she gets more rope from the house. Again, it's too short, 2 inches too short. It's all the ropes from the house. It's still 2 inches too short. And then she asks for help. And all of Vrindavan comes, and all the gopis, they bring ropes from their houses. And still it's 2 inches too short, and it keeps being 2 inches too short. And then finally, like they even get the ropes from the calves and the cows, and then they use that to tie Krishna up. Still it's 2 inches too short. And that was another thing. Krishna had never liked that the cows, I think both the cows and the calves, that they were tied up with these ropes. So he wanted them, to get rid of these ropes. So he arranged this pastime. But so the Acharyas explained that there are 2 things that are always needed for anything in devotional service, for any endeavor. Anyone know what are those 2 things that represent the 2 inches too short? Butter. Kelly? Yeah. Yes, bro. Mercy and endeavor. Yeah. Those are the 2 things that represent those 2 inches too short. The mercy and endeavor. And then finally, Krishna saw that she was struggling so hard, so then he let her tie him up. So by those 2 things, my mercy and endeavor, one can actually make advancement in spiritual life. And so our endeavor is there, that we put as much effort as we can. And then there's Krishna's mercy. Because we don't really make spiritual advancement by our endeavor. One can endeavor as much as they like, but one actually does not make advancement because of that. One makes advancement because Krishna sees our endeavor, and then he gives the mercy. And then, and sometimes there's that phrase that tossed around, causeless mercy. And so it's causeless because it's coming from Krishna, and he's the cause of all causes. He's not obliged to act in a certain way. But at this, so it's that, in that sense, it's causeless. But at the same time, the endeavor also always has to be there. One actually has to make a sincere endeavor. It's like when you love someone, you try your best to please them. You try your best. So same way for Krishna as well. So he lets her tie him up, and then he's there all tied up to this mortar, and he's upset, and he's like, she tied me up to this mortar. I'm gonna show her. So he sees these 2 huge trees, the 2 Arjuna trees, and he's like, I'm going to bring those trees down. As he's thinking like a child. He's again having a tantrum, and so he walks through those. So the trees are standing. He walks between them. He goes through, but then the mortar is stuck, and then he pulls down those huge trees. When the trees come down, there's a huge noise. And at that point, the Brajvasis come, and some of them saw him do it, actually. And so some of them saw it, and the others came, and the Mother Yashoda came, and then they said, he pulled down the 2 trees, and the other were like, what are you talking? It's a little child, how could he pull down these 2 huge trees? You don't know what you're talking about. And then, but at that point, Mother Yashoda got afraid, and she thought it was again some demon who came to kill Krishna. So then she brought him back in. But yeah, those two trees are the Nala Kuvera and Manigriva. So there are the two sons of Kuvera. Kuvera is the treasurer. Where's Alisha? Kuvera is the treasurer of the demigods. So that means he himself is fabulously rich. I believe Ravana was also his brother, Kuvera's brother. So yeah, something, some connection from a different mother or something. Yeah, but and so he was fabulously rich, and his sons were also, of course, rich. And then Prabhupada talks about how when one is fabulously rich, they really get covered over, and normally then they want to do intoxication, gambling, and have illicit sex. And then he says that sooner or later the meat eating also comes. And so that's what they were doing. They were in this celestial lake up in the heavenly planets, and they were naked, the two boys, and then they're having fun with some Matajis, who were also naked in the little lake. And they were just sporting in the lake and having fun. And then Narada Muni saw that, and he felt sorry for them because he saw how covered they were with the material energy. And so he walked by, and then the golds were shy. They were not drunk enough. So they actually tried to cover themselves when they saw Narada Muni. Whereas when Nala Kuvera and Manigriva they were too drunk to try to. It's like when we go on Harinam, Midtown, and people are all drunk, and there's so many things that happen in Harinam. They throw beer at us. Like one time we were going to Harinam, and then they were up there throwing beer at us. Like, it's so many things that they do. So what's that? They offer us beer. Yeah. Abhishek, yeah. Beer Abhishek. So it's the same thing. They're all just too drunk to even acknowledge Narada Muni. So at that point, he said he actually wanted to show mercy. So he said, okay, so that you make spiritual advancement, may you be cursed as trees for 100 demigod years, celestial years, which is a really long time. But then in the end, you'll see Lord Krishna. And so he did want to, his motivation was to help them. He was not necessarily upset or angry. He really wanted them to get out of this, this whole material entanglement that they were in. And so, they were cursed, and they came as trees, and they were standing there. And the thing is, he gave them the consciousness. He cursed them, and he said that they will have the consciousness. They'll remember why they're standing there. And so they were just standing there with the demigod consciousness, or at least the consciousness that why they're there and so forth. And that sounds pretty intense. He's standing there for 100 celestial years. But they were waiting. They knew the purpose was that they're going to see Lord Krishna. They were patiently waiting for that. And so, and then Krishna came, and then they said these beautiful prayers, and then they went back. So Lord Krishna said that go back to your spiritual, celestial realm, and then perform devotional service, and you go back to God in this life. So that's the story behind. That's in brief the whole Damodar pastime. Of course, I'm sure there's more to it and more nuances and more depth to it, but that's the general pastime. So as the month of Kartik goes, you can meditate on this pastime and or several pastimes really of Kartik. And even in the month of Kartik, there are different events. There's like Radha Kund appears, and during that month, of course, on the day that Damodar pastime is, that's also the day when Diwali is, when Lord Ram comes back. And there's so many things. Was that? Oh yeah, Govardhan Puja, of course. Yeah. So you can have the no sugar vow, but that one day. But which actually I do want to mention. So normally devotees take some vows for that particular month, and you already do a lot in Krishna house, so you just want to think ahead and think the two kinds of vows, the positive ones and the negative ones. So the positive ones is like, okay, I'm going to add something to my life. I'm going to, chant extra rounds or read 10 pages of the Gita or the Bhagavatam or something else, or 5 pages, whatever it is, or half a page or something. But, you add something in your life. And the negative one is, okay, what do I want to remove from my life that is hindering my Krishna consciousness? Maybe I'll give up social media. Yep, there you go. I'll stop gambling. There you go. Wow. If you, yeah, or whatever else that you think is hindering your spiritual life. And if you do not know what is hindering your spiritual life, ask your ashram gurus. They will tell you very wholeheartedly what is hindering your spiritual life, and then you can take a vow to not do that. But what are you saying? No what? No gossiping. Oh, there you go. Yeah, too much. That's too much gossip. No, there you go. Definitely no. No skinny dipping during Kartik. Right after that. But yeah, gossiping. Yeah, especially with gossiping, it's like the mad elephant offense. It crushes the creeper of our little bhakti that's there, and gossip and criticizing devotees. So yeah, especially Kartik. Actually, you do not want to criticize devotees. You can do it after that. I'm just kidding. But especially during Kartik, it's like there's a lot of mercy that comes in Kartik. There's a lot of benefits, whatever you do. But at the same time, one also wants to need to be careful, because it is a spiritually strong month. So sometimes the reaction can be heavy as well. It's like going to Vrindavan. Whatever you do is when you go to Vrindavan, it's like you just chant and chant and chant. It's easy, but at the same time, if you commit a small offense, then monkeys attack you, somebody steals your shoes. Speaking from experience, glasses. Yeah, yeah. I saw a monkey stealing someone's gold necklace this time. Yeah. All right. So just think about what you want to do for Kartik. Start thinking about it. There's still a good amount of time. The first day of Kartik, we're gonna have not 24 hour, 12-hour kirtan. Madhapur is gonna come this Wednesday. He's gonna talk about it a little bit during class. But yeah, so that'll be a good start to Kartik, and then he's gonna sing Damodar Ashtakam that day. It'll be really sweet. Yeah. So Kartik, any other thoughts, comments about Kartik, or questions, inspirations? Oh, you want to give some examples? Oh, you have mics? We don't know mics. Do we need mics? I guess. Yeah. Okay. Sure. So positive vows. Yeah. Reading, chanting. What else? Any other examples from your previous year? Oh, that's another thing. Like the vow you take. Normally, you keep it private. You keep it to yourself. It's a vow you're doing, a service you're doing to Krishna. So you don't, post on Facebook. This Kartik, I will be taking, doing this or whatever. It's something very personal you have with Krishna. So just keep it to yourself. You can tell it afterwards if you want, like after that. Oh yeah, sure. If it serves a purpose, sure. Yeah. But in general, yeah, just keep it to yourself. Okay. Any examples? Any other nice examples of vows during Kartik? Praying, you said? Yeah. It would be nice if you quantify it as well, because wow, then maybe it's like a specific set of prayers or something. Yes. Otherwise, it could be a little ambiguous. It's nice. Give it something every day.
In the past, I know there were some girls that were they doing this? Anyways, an idea that came to my mind, I don't think they were doing this actually, so scratch that. But idea that came to my mind is like make sure you give like a compliment to one person every day, or like thank 5 people for their service every day. Find something good, or something like that.
There's a good way to remember how to do that I read in a book. You put 5 pennies in one pocket, and every time you compliment someone, you move 1 penny to the other pocket, so that you're reminded, okay, I have this many more compliments I need to give today.
Yeah, what if you don't have
So I was thinking maybe
once a week you can try and get a student to one of our programs. That'd be nice.
Make no dinner plans.
Make no dinner plan.
We got you covered. Drum circle, free dinner.
Generally, like reading a little extra, like reading a chapter of Krishna book or a few pages of Bhagavad Gita, like 4 or 5 pages, or reading with a friend, remembering a verse. Those things always help.
There was one year I did Bhagavad Gita. If you read about 25 pages every day, you will read the whole Gita in a month. So yeah, it was really nice actually. Took me about 40-45 minutes every night. Yeah. Anything else? What did you do, Radhika?
I was thinking, why do you have mine?
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Some wants maybe waking up a little bit earlier so you can chant in the morning, or picking up extra service to do maybe for the devotees. Yeah, maybe cooking for them or for your guru, something like that.
Yeah. There's so many things. Anything else?
There's this thing called Chad where you read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day, but you just read like the translations.
Yeah.
And you'll get through it before the month is over. You can start over.
Alright. Yeah, I think even one devotee used to read the first canto, the whole first canto. She was able to read it in a month. So, the first canto.
Just 1 meal a day.
Yeah, take 1 meal a day. There you go. Some people do that. Yeah, there are some stricter vows devotees follow, but I'd say like keep it something that's sustainable, and even if you dip, if you fail 1 or 2 days, whatever, just get back to it. And so think about it and make it 1 or 2 vows that you just stick to it. It could be something simple. It doesn't have to be like something momentous, big or something.
How should we, if we mess up one day, like, how should we?
How should we feel? Yeah, good. But you just how should you feel? Yeah, I guess it's humbling, you just feel like, oh, Krishna, I'm a fallen soul. I've been trying, but I cannot because I'm fallible. But I'm gonna try to do it again, even though I'm not able to. Yes, but Mike.
For that purpose, you should make sure that it's doable,
Yeah.
not beyond your strength, and measurable. And I like to take something that is maybe not that I like to do, and to add that in, but just a little bit of it every day, so I can get a taste for something that I don't normally relish.
Yeah, Max.
You said Kartik starts on the
28th, yeah. When does it end? I believe it's like 27th or something. But it's normally about a month from then. Something like that. We can look it up later. All right. Okay, let's go a few more points for Istagosthi. But the gossip thing came up of criticizing. So I just wanted to ask, what happened? No, not what happens. How do you normally feel, or when there is a lot of gossip or criticizing going around? What are some normal? Yep, Jonathan. That's fine. Uncomfortable, yeah.
I get paranoid really easy that there's conspiracies against me, because there have been in the past on pretty high levels. So
Right.
on the lower level, like I think everybody's talking about me, yeah, I might
How do you deal with that normally?
just like freak out as much as possible.
As much as possible to the fullest extent. And then what do you do?
I came to Jesus and then came to Christian consciousness, and it healed me a lot.
Okay.
I separate. No, honestly, I had a lot of like rumors and gossip spread against me, and it was with the intentions of like keeping me from being successful in like my material endeavors. And then, yeah, ultimately, like I fled to the protection of the Lord, and which led me to Krishna consciousness. And before that, I had separated myself from everybody. I had separated myself from all social medias, even from answering text messages. Like I barely even talked to my mom, and I just like spent time with the Lord alone in my house and my dog. And but then coming to like Christian house has actually like really healed me to be around a devotee association. So I think, yeah, it's very important to like, for me too, to just like wash my criticism and gossiping towards other devotees, because like ultimately I want to continue to help to make this a healthy environment, and the type of environment that can help people like me heal from, traumas.
And we love you here, John. So, yeah, we all go through things, and it's one of the biggest tricks of Maya, and each one of us goes through it, except Nitai. That where somehow the illusory energy is really like, I'm not talking about you, my God. It's not a conspiracy. It's also, like everybody's gone through it. Somehow the illusory energy just twists our mind and twists reality in such a way sometimes where we really like get all riled up. And I mean, I'm just speaking from my experience. And I want to blame somebody for something, and you just get so angry. I remember when I was angry for like two straight years at somebody, every day. It was every day, like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was so upset about something, and I so it was not necessarily offensive, but I was very, very critical about them and several other people, I guess. This was in Maryland. But it wasn't here. This is not one of those 2 years. But I just remember, like, I mean, luckily or unluckily, I had none over there. But then, then looking back, I remember thinking like, oh my God, why was I being so intense about it? And I remember, I remember writing a letter apology to those two senior devotees years later. And they were like, of course, like they were just happy to get the letter. And they were like, oh, I mean, we don't, like we didn't take any offense, whatever. We didn't, it's no big deal. And so they've been kind to me always. But yeah, I remember writing a letter to those devotees. But yeah, it's amazing. That's like the biggest weapon in the illusory energies, Maya's arsenal, to somehow make us so bewildered and not value devotees, because that's like the last, that's as John was saying, like how we appreciate devotees, and he's here in Krishna house, or we're here in Krishna house, and we appreciate the Sangha. So, well, the Maya tests us that, do you really appreciate it? Do you really like these people? Do you really want to be here, Maya? There was a one play of Bhakti Maharaj, and he had this personality Maya. That's what I was thinking. Well, you were there in that? No.
Well, we were in it.
You were in it?
New Year's, yeah.
Oh, really? It was with Dhruva Maharaj. Oh, I see. It was a different. That was like a long time ago. All right. Oh, perfect. But yeah, there's one character. Maharaj had Maya, and he would go around with like a few things, and be like, Maya, and he'd show around. But yeah, that one was with Dhruva Maharaj. It was a long time ago. But yeah, that's one of the biggest thing Maya has, is to really go like, do you really want to do this? Do you really like these people? Is the prasadam really gluten-free? Do they really care about your dietary needs? So there's so many things, But yeah, does the hing have gluten? Do they really care about you? So there's so many things the mind can get into, So, and now that's a conspiracy. But yeah. We put MSG in Krishna. I'm just kidding. But yeah, just especially as Kartik and everything. So we want to so whenever the mind is throwing these things, it's good to just step back a little and apply that one thing that Prabhupada always said: you are not this body, which includes the mind. You just take one step back, take a bird's eye view and look at everything. Try to look at it. If you can't do, if you're too riled up, which does happen, then call a friend, and then they can use the next option, 50-50. Ask the audience, use all this. If you're not familiar, it's the Become a Millionaire game. But yeah, just do that and call a devotee, call somebody you trust and who mentors you, or just anyone, or ask a friend, who's slightly more level-headed at that point than you. But it's so crucial is to be able to have devotee association. That's the source of all our spiritual advancement. I remember being in Maryland, and then we were there for like 4 years, and it was just me and her. We were preaching every day, day and night. We do the morning program ourselves. There were 2 other devotees would be there. We do the morning program. We'd cook the Krishna lunch. We go to the campus, do the Krishna lunch. She would do the Krishna lunch out of the book table. We'd come on the way back. We'd do the Boga shopping for the next day. Come back, clean, cut up. Sometimes we even do a program in the end, and then we go to bed. And we were engaged all day in serving. But when I moved here from there, and I was here with so many nice devotees, like Mangalarti was so different. It was so uplifting, it was just so uplifting. So it's really devotee association that really lifts us up. But yeah, all right. But yeah, in general, other points, breakfast is going to be inside, so I guess I'm going to wait for Nanda to roll the card in. All right, I can't live with that right now, so all right, so curfew time, yeah, please, especially with Kartik coming, things, we can have more activity and so forth. And so, try to go to bed on reasonable time. Curfew time is 9:15. I always forget. 9, okay. So it's 9 p.m. is like when things kind of, what's that? Friday, Saturday, 9:45. But yeah, that's when things are supposed to like kind of calm down, turn off the lights and everything. And then hopefully by 9:30 or 10, go to bed. That's the secret to spiritual life. It's just, more to goodness, going to bed early so that you can wake up early. So yeah, please do follow that. And especially with the dish room that, it's outside now, used to be inside. So then it even affects other devotees who are in that section, in the red brick house. Please be considerate. And then, Kirtan standards. Yeah, in general, so the morning program, the morning tune, everyone's mostly familiar. And Prabhupada always wanted the devotees to sing the morning tune for the Mangalarti. And so please stick to that. And even the Prabhupada tune, it's since Prabhupada himself asked for, to sing the morning tune. It's a specific raga in the morning and kind of wakes you up. So just try to stick to that. And also, other temples, sometimes Mangalarti is much longer. So sometimes they do sing the Prabhupada tune because it's fairly longer. But here it's like, our Hare Krishna part is like 3 minutes, I think, or maybe 5 at tops. So I would encourage you to sing the morning tune just so that you can get used to singing the morning tune for like a good amount of time. So when you go elsewhere, you can actually sing it for more than 3 minutes and not just jump to the proper tune for the next like 15 minutes in the morning program. But yeah, please, I encourage you to, start just primarily sing the morning tune and get used to that. It's kind of like building your muscles or, So, and the time, our morning program is a little tight, it's very custom made, and we want to have the japa time 6:30 to 7:30. So, yeah, Nashinga prayers, please stick to the screen. You say the Tavakara Kamala verse, you can sing the Keshavadrita, and just join Nashinga Dev Prabhupada margins and there. And because I do need a little time for the announcements, sometimes I have too many announcements, sometimes not as many. But it's good to just be able to start japa at 6:30 and have at least an hour japa in the morning. Oh yeah, we'll shrink. Yeah, we'll remove. I think we don't do the 10 offenses, all that stuff. We don't do that. We just jump into the Damodarashtakam, and then then it goes beyond 6:30. It's just no way around it. But what's that? Come earlier for japa. Yeah, come early for japa. Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, Guru Puja, same thing. Just sing the first stanza, so you can sing that, sing that once, like each line. But second stanza, you can double up a bit. But it also, because if the Guru Puja goes longer, there's slightly less time for class, and it goes over and so forth. So, but yeah, with Guru Puja also, our Guru Puja is fairly short. So yeah, I would say like the first stanza, sing it once, the lines, and then second one, you just in the old fancy, go fast and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Anything else? I did have Advaita. Did you want to talk a little bit about Krishna once? Yeah, sure. Was that? It's always good. It's always good. All right, I'm using the mic. Is that mic over there?